Hi everyone. Today I'm going to discuss a very interesting topic that is blockchain and its use in modern applications. So let us just get started with it. So I will start with the definition of the blockchain and then I will discuss in detail about it. So what actually is the blockchain? Blockchain is a digital ever-growing list of data records. Such a list is comprised of many blocks of data which are organized in chronological order and are linked and secured by cryptographic proofs. So by looking at the definition, it might seem very difficult, but I'm going to just explain details about the blockchain. So let us just move to a little bit about the history of the blockchain before moving forward into the details of the blockchain. So the first prototype of blockchain is dated back in 1990s when two computer scientists named Stewart and Scott applied cryptographic techniques in a chain of blocks as a way to secure digital documents from data tampering. So the concept was available from 1990s, but nobody appreciated their work. But in 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto was the one who was actually the founder of the Bitcoin. So he actually used their work and developed or launched, you can say, Bitcoin. So you might be you guys are very familiar with Bitcoin these days, as it's a very interesting topic, and everybody is investing in Bitcoin a lot. So Bitcoin is actually the first decentralized electronic cash system, or simply the first cryptocurrency available in the market. So right now there are thousands of cryptocurrencies launched based on the blockchain. So, but the Bitcoin's base was actually the blockchain. So let us just discuss the details. What actually is the blockchain? Is it a database? Is it not a database? What is it actually? So actually, it's a decentralized, distributed, and public digital ledger that is responsible for keeping a permanent record chain of blocks of all previously confirmed transactions. So what does this mean? It means that it's not a centralized database like we have MySQL. We have other databases available that has a server and that they have a data center, you can say. But this blockchain is a distributed technology that is not centralized or based on one computer. It is actually a combination of different computers. It is a combination of thousands of computers, and it's why it's a public digital ledger, because it's publicly available to everyone. Everybody can join in and everybody can check about the transaction, what transactions are going on into the ledger live. So actually there is no administrator or controlling authority involved in the blockchain. So it is actually controlled by all the people in the blockchain. So it makes it very much, available for everybody. They can see, they can verify transactions, they can check, and even they can, if we need to change anything into the blockchain, we need to first get it verified from everybody. So nobody can just go into the database and just change one transaction. So the transactions, whenever we need to change a transaction, we need to add another block of the updated transaction into the list, or you can say into the ledger. We cannot just change a block or block of data. So the data in a block, how this blockchain looks like, it is kind of a linked list. You might have heard of the data structure linked list. So in the linked list, uh, uh, previous hash is available, like the previous address of the block is available as well. And in this blockchain, the data is also available in every block. Every block keeps the copy of their previous uh, data records. So if we need to change anything into the blockchain, whenever we change the data into the blockchain, the hash gets changed as well. So it is nearly impossible to just hack this blockchain, because whenever we change a simple data, try to change the data set, we actually need to hack a blockchain, we need to hack 50% of the computers into that chain. So it is nearly impossible. So the data set that is available into each block is dependent on the blockchain, nature of the blockchain, what blockchain we are using. There are thousands of blockchains, okay, available. So the Bitcoin blockchain is actually storing the data from where Bitcoin is sent to where Bitcoin is sent and how much Bitcoin is sent. So this kind of data is stored in Bitcoin blockchain. So there are different blockchains available for different purposes. So we cannot say that the same kind of data will be stored in every blockchain. So let us move forward. Let me show you a little bit how this transaction is done into a blockchain. So for example, A wants to send money to B. So the transaction is represented online as a block. We can think of transaction as one block. The block is broadcasted to every party in the networks. For example, there are thousands of computers. Every computer will need to verify this transaction that it is actually happening here. Those in the network up to the transaction is valid. If it is valid, the block then can be added to the chain, which provides an indelible and transparent record of transaction. So when everybody approves, 50% of the network approve that this transaction is valid, then the new block is added to the chain. Otherwise, it will be rejected. So it is nearly impossible to add a tempered block into the blockchain and the money moves from A to B. So it is just one example of blockchain. It is not necessary that blockchain is always used for sending money to someone. So why blockchain? So there are some properties. Actually, the blockchain uses TLD. This is called the distributed ledger technology. Behind blockchain, there is a distributed ledger technology. So there are some properties of the distributed ledger technology. It is actually distributed. All network participants have a copy of the ledger for complete transparency. Okay, so if there are thousands of computers will have the copy of the ledger at that time. Okay, so nobody can say or change any transaction without getting noticed. So it's immutable. Any validated records are irreversible and cannot be changed. Like I told you, if we need to change a block, we will lose its hash. Whenever we change a data into a block, its hash will get changed. So it is timestamped. A transaction is timestamped and is recorded on a block. Whenever a transaction is done, A to B, we are transferring the money, time is recorded for that. Anonymous, all network participants agree to the validity of the transaction. We cannot say that this transaction is valid. If we need to make a transaction valid, we need to get 50% of the network computers to get agreed on your transaction. So anonymous, the identity of participants is either anonymous or pseudonymous. So you guys are totally anonymous because whenever we need to do a transaction, we do it from wallet to wallet. For example, we create a MetaMask wallet. So there are a lot of wallets, crypto wallets available. So whenever you create a wallet, you get a key. You can say a private key. So that your key is your identity actually on the blockchain. So it is a drawback of this as well, because you need to keep that private key secure, because if you lose it, you will lose your money forever. So there is no way that you get your key back. So it is secure because all records are individually encrypted as well. And also these are validated by everybody. So yeah, they are secure. So it is programmable as well. So it is a very, I can say the property, very good property of blockchain, that it is programmable, because being developers, we need something that we can program and we can change. So blockchain is programmable due to smart contracts. So I'm going to explain a little bit about smart contracts in the next slide, because smart contracts plays a very, very important role in blockchain application development. So what are smart contracts? Smart contracts work by following simple if and then statements that are written into code on a blockchain. So most of we developers, we are familiar with these conditions, if, when, then, these statements. These are actually same technique is used. Smart contract is actually coded in a language called Solidity language, and in Solidity language we make use of these statements, if and then. It has its own syntax, and we can actually program the smart contract. I'm going to explain how we can, what benefits we can get from smart contracts. A network of computer executes the actions when predetermined conditions have been met and verified. So the modern applications these days, that they are working on smart contract. So smart contract eliminates actually it meets the conditions that are predefined in the smart contracts. We write a set of code and statements into a smart contracts, and whenever they are met and verified, we can execute some kind of code as well in against that. So this is all automatic. So these action could include releasing funds to the appropriate parties, registering a vehicle, sending notification, or issuing a ticket. The blockchain is then updated when the transaction is complete. So, for example, uh, two persons agree on an agreement and they have written a smart contract in between. So, whenever those conditions are met, they're, for example, they have agreed that they will send $200 if this person arrives in a given time at some place. So, whenever that person arrives at the given time and that place, the funds will be automatically released to the other party's wallet. So this is just one example that we can do with smart contracts. We can do multiple things using smart contracts. Even insurance companies are using smart contracts these days. So you actually know there is no need for a lawyer or notary person to verify your signatures and things like that. We don't need a middleman or a third party involved between two people. So this is a peer-to-peer, you can say. We can do any transactions peer-to-peer using this. We can send money to anybody without the involvement of the bank. So actually banks will be, you can say, will be eliminated maybe in the future if we have agreed on properly this smart contracts. If government, I mean, officially announces and the Bitcoin and accepts the Bitcoin as the official currency, I think so. The banks will be doomed. So uses of blockchain in modern applications. Let us just move forward. How we are using right now, the modern applications are using this blockchain. So where can we use blockchain? Yeah, and as I told you guys that government uh, can use these as well. But right now, most of the governments are not allowing the Bitcoin in as a currency. So yeah, but there are some other uses of the blockchain as well, like we this follow my vote and votes. And these are the applications that are right now using the electronic voting system based on the blockchain. So voting system based on this blockchain will be highly secured, and everybody will get a digital ID that will cannot be tampered, or his vote cannot be tampered, and even his identity cannot be tampered. So they are still looking into making this more secure day by day. But you guys can check these applications that they actually exist right now. So some insurance companies like Lemonade, Dynamics, they are using smart contracts using blockchain, and they are actually into this field. So healthcare companies, medical chain, Nebula, Genomics, Patientry, these are the companies in the healthcare department. There are other as well. And like I have just mentioned two or three here. So there are a lot of them who are actually shifting to the blockchain, because I will just explain about the health companies later. So supply chain and logistic. So DHL actually is very famous, and DHL it has recently started its application using blockchain. So I will explain later how this works. So the other uses of it is NFT marketplaces as well, OpenSea, Dapper Labs. You guys might have heard about NFTs a lot. I'm going to explain a little bit of NFTs in this presentation because I think that that's a very interesting topic, NFTs. So social media platform like Steam, music streaming, Open Music Initiative, and Media Chain, they are the music streaming companies that are using blockchain. They're using blockchain. It's very easy for the singers or media guys to get royalty for their products. For example, if they have launched a music, they can sell it online and people can actually buy, you can say buy shares from their music. If they have launched a ringtone, for example, people can buy shares of that ringtone. So all those people, for example, he has given 5,000 people royalty of that music. So 5,000 people are the actual owners of this music. So real estate is actually very much into this because using smart contracts, real estate will be very easy to, transferring of properties, sending property shares to someone, or even distributing the property into digital, you can say currency kind of thing. So these are some of the things. Let us just move forward and let me just discuss a few real life scenarios that the famous brands, how they are doing it, how they are using the blockchain. So Walmart and IBM have collaborated uh, uh, long ago, and they have even tested two of their uh, supply chains a test into this, and they were successful. So what they're actually doing, IBM has actually launched the blockchain that they are using. So let me just explain why Walmart shifted to blockchain. So every year, 420,000 deaths are recorded due to blood-borne diseases. So why is it so? Because, for example, meat, from where the meat has actually originated, when the fish came to the from the farm to the warehouse, and from warehouse it came into the shop. So before, coming from the fishing farm to the mart, it took some days uh, for fish to come there, but there is no record for that fish that when it was actually brought out from the farm. So how has it been transported? What batch does it belong to? How has been it contact with it? Where was it harvested, processed? So these are some of the questions that people might, and that people should be aware of before using any uh, product or before eating anything. So using blockchain, this can be tracked easily. Whenever fish it comes out from the farm, it will be recorded on the blockchain. And whenever it moves forward, on every step, people will be able to look at the food they are going to eat. What is its history? How is it? How long it has been, for example, harvested or processed or things like that. So I think so. You might have got the actual idea behind it. So this is how Walmart and they are collaborating. So big, very big brands are now shifting towards blockchain due to this. So why healthcare companies should adopt blockchain? So statistics show that up to 1 in 5 patient records are not accurately matched even within the same healthcare system. As many as half of the patient records are mismatched when data is transferred between healthcare systems. So this is the problem with the databases. That, for example, we have two hospitals. One hospital will never share its database to the other hospital. So whenever a patient moves from hospital A to hospital B, he has to do all the medical records again, or he has to request the other hospital to give them the medical record, his medical record. So blockchain solve this problem. How blockchain solve this problem? They they are going to be registered on the blockchain, so every hospital will have access to this blockchain, the data of the patient. So they enable even the by using blockchain, patients will have the patient can allow the medical healthcare companies to check their data. So patients can also choose to share their medical records or part of their medical record with researcher. If it is only some part of the medical record is necessary for certain hospital, so he will just share that medical record. He doesn't need to share all his medical record. So they can even set time limits on how long any third party can have access to their medical records. uh, it is not like that whenever healthcare companies want to check their database report, they can check. It will be in the hands of the patient, that if he is allowing them or not. So this is how healthcare companies are getting benefited through blockchain. So another application of the blockchain that is very much common these days, these are NFTs. So you guys might have heard about NFTs. So it is simply non-fungible tokens. But what does it actually mean? It actually means that it will be a unique piece of uh, art, document, music, real estate, domain names, anything can be an NFT, which has a value, digital value. For example, digital arts, concert tickets, things like that. So actually, this is the future. Actually, right now, we actually a lot of concerts are being organized in the metaverse. You guys might have heard about metaverse. So their concert tickets are even selling in the form of NFTs. So these applications are all uh, based on blockchain. So the OpenSea website that I talked about, uh, you guys can mint NFTs there and sell those NFTs there. So NFT is nothing more on the blockchain. If you can see on the right side of the image, there are two blocks. So NFT is just a block whenever some user mint a piece of art, for example. The other people can use that piece of art anywhere, but the person who has actually made the first transaction, who has actually uh, written his name on the blockchain, he is the owner of the NFT. So the next time he can transfer this NFT, so, like the token EV90 sold for one Ethereum coin. So one Ethereum coin, he has sold it. So the value written for now, this NFT will be one ETH. So this is how values of the NFTs become larger day by day. So let me share with you a very interesting thing why NFTs are sold for millions of dollars. So on the right hand side, you guys can see this is an NFT called CryptoPunk. So CryptoPunk was sold for $23.7 million. So you guys might be looking at this image that why it's being sold for that much amount. So I'm going to explain it. We can look at the second uh, uh, image I have. It is actually the first tweet. Okay, it's the actually first tweet that Sina Estavi bought Twitter founder Jack Dorsey's first ever tweet as an NFT for $2.9 million. So what is this actually? Why people are buying this? So it's just a hype. It's nothing more than a hype. So even it's like, let me give you an example. For example, you buy a car for, uh, for example, 23.7 million. You have bought a car, but when you are going to sell it, there is no customer in the market for that car. So that car at that time is useless for you. That's worth nothing because there is no buyer of that car. Same as it is in the NFT case. If you have bought an NFT of $1 million, your transaction will be recorded on the blockchain that you have bought this and you are now this worth of person. But if there is no buyer in the market, then it's useless. Like there is no use of this NFT. But in the future, in the metaverse, uh, I think so. They will be used somewhere, these NFTs. But right now, these NFTs are being used. Some of the NFTs are valuable. They are being used in the games as well. So I will explain some other time about uh, how these are used, how blockchain is used in games these days, because assets are limited in games. So whenever a new asset is launched, for example, a shield or some powers are introduced into the game, they are limited to some people. So people buy them. So their value increases because they are limited. So whenever limit is applied, uh, the value of the thing or NFT, you can say, is increased. So we have talked a lot about blockchain, but we haven't actually seen what it really looks like. So let me just show you how it actually looks like. I have set up a local blockchain on my computer. So this is how it looks like. These are the accounts of, this is actually a testing blockchain that we mostly, or we can use for testing the applications based on blockchain, because blockchain is a bit expensive. Whenever we need to run a smart contract on blockchain, we need to give some gas fees, pay some gas fees for that. So gas fees is actually expensive. So that's why this Ganesh is a platform that is free to use. They have given these addresses. These are the wallet addresses, you can say. These are different persons, you can say. So these are the testing accounts actually you can use to test the transactions on the blockchain. So 100 ETH is given Ethereum. These are 100 Ethereum coins that are given on each address for testing it. So these are the blocks. Whenever we run a transaction on the blockchain, these blocks gets added here. This is block 0, and its details are here. How much gas fees were used, because it's the first one, so no gas fees was used. But whenever I will run a transaction or something on this account, another block will be added, and its date of, like, time spent we have discussed, and other things of it will be displayed here. So here we can have transaction records, smart contracts that run here, and logs as well. So this was how an actual blockchain looks like. So obviously, I know you have a lot of questions in the mind, and I am really happy to answer all of them. So you guys can tell me anytime what question you guys have about this blockchain and this whole thing. I know it has a lot of applications, and it's a bit difficult to get complete understanding. So I'm happy to answer all of your questions. Thanks.